If you hear me!
Today on the show, welcome back to another episode of Holla If You Hear Me Weekly, where we're talking about all the main points from Raw, SmackDown. We've also got our favourite segment, the ring historian himself, Dirty Dave, gives us From the Vault, and Andi Nero's hot take, plus much, much more. I'm your humble host, Fraz, and joining me as always is the kayfabe assassin, Mr. Andi Nero, and the ring historian, Dirty Dave. You know the drill by now, though. Hit the like button, smash the bell for notifications, and if you're not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? We post wrestling content every week, which is top bloody draw. So without further ado, gents, let's get into it. How are we, Andy? Brighton?
Tired, mate. Very tired. Long journeys.
Yeah? It's been a busy week for all of us, hasn't it, Dave? You enjoyed Jurassic Park?
Yeah, it's all right.
I see your T-Rex impressions down to a T.
What? D-Rex.
Sorry, D-Rex.
Mm.
And I know you have both sent me heartfelt messages wishing me the kindest of birthdays. However, for the internet, maybe a little belated birthday wishes to yours truly.
You're right. Happy birthday, Claire. I hope you had a lovely day.
Yeah, happy birthday, Claire. Happy birthday, America. I think that counts. I think that covers everyone that's important.
Doesn't matter what I do, she always one-ups me. Okay, well, that being said, let's move to the news drop and we'll talk about SmackDown, shall we? Or maybe we won't talk about SmackDown because I thought it was rather poor this week. Cody, Randy, and then the return of the Scottish Warrior or the Celtic Warrior, whatever he calls him. No, that's Sheamus, isn't it? Yeah,
Scottish
Drew's
psychopath.
back.
Yeah.
Drew's back.
The chosen one
I mentioned.
has returned.
I mentioned last week that they taped this straight after Raw. Did you see the promo that I was talking about? Oh, no, you call me. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
That was quite good.
It was good. And now they're having a match this Saturday. Thoughts, feelings?
Always fun to see Drew back on the telly. He's probably one of the best things about WWE programming, week on week. But yeah.
Love Drew. So glad he's back. Obviously, Orton's fantastic as well. This is going to be a really good match. Drew obviously protect Randy, so they both know what each other can do. And I think it'll be a test to see how far Orton's going to go after another King of the Ring final loss.
Yeah.
I would like to see a John Cena Drew McIntyre match where Drew is heel and Cena is heel. I think that would be quite good. Not only the match, but the
Heel
promos
versus
coming up to it.
Yeah, heel versus heel matches very rarely go over well. I think you'd have to make. I mean, Drew almost is anyway. People like to hate Drew, but he's a tweener. He's a heel that says things that people agree with. He's a bit like Cross, if you know what I mean. Like he just says shit that people sort of go, oh yeah, no, he's right. Fuck him. Like, do you know what I mean? So he's kind of in that tweener space. Yeah.
That's why it works for me. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair was my highlight of SmackDown.
Oh, that was charming. I liked that. I thought it was quite funny.
I did like that.
How splendid they've all made friends.
Yeah, Charlotte's looking good.
I love both these women, so I've got no problems with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair having a little romantic session for the next couple of weeks. No doubt it will break up and go wrong, but at the end of the day, they, like Andy's just showed, they will scissor better than Billy Gunn's kids, so let's go for it.
Wow.
Scissor me daddy ass. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a good match, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do together. It's a nice little pairing.
Indeed. And what did you think of Talatonga, Andy?
Big version of Tamatonga, really. Isn't he? Well, he's taller Tonga. I mean, it's literally his name. It's almost as if their name. It's almost as if they named him for the fact that he's just a tall version of Tonga. But yeah, there's not many people.
Kane.
I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. I don't think there's many people left in American Samoa, Tonga, Fiji that aren't employed by WWE at this point. Most of them seem to be. So, yay for them. But Yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about the tag match, if that's what you're going
That's
for,
what I was alluding to.
Jim's just not quite doing it for me at the minute. And I've spoke about JC. I cannot get on this guy. I'm not taking away the fact that he hasn't been awesome everywhere else, but this is, I just think he's shit.
He's got no aura. He's got no aura. He needs his aura.
Yeah, I know he's done great stuff, but this is, I don't care. And at this point, Jimmy can be shot because he's not doing anything either. Fatu going through the table, yeah, cool. Cheap heat, bloodline powerbomb through a table. Seen it a million times. It's all right.
Oh,
Solo's
boys.
still the best thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit frosty considering Jacob Fatu is everyone's favourite and Solo is now sort of moving into the realms of where you can't, but not.
You can't
love
hate
him.
Solo. Yeah,
He's brilliant.
I think, I tried to choose my words really wisely. I did say Jim and JC. I have no real problems with Fatu. Solo's absolutely fantastic, but I've got two guys that I think are really good, surrounded by stuff that I don't care about at all. And I think that they take away from Solo and Fatu, to be honest, instead of adding. I don't think they're adding to it. I don't see how long this is going to last.
It's going to last until Survivor Series, isn't it?
Christ, I hope not.
Yeah, but it's going to build to Solo and his bloodline versus Jacob and the guest fifth spot or the guest fourth spot, or whatever you want to call it. It'll be Roman.
No.
You'll have Jacob,
Jimmy.
small
storyline for Roman.
Yeah, I can't see that. And then what? We're going to drop
big man for that.
Going to drop Jay down into this, are we?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it will be Jacob, Jimmy, Jay, and the other guy. Is it Zilla Fatu?
Bear in mind, Tamatonga's not back yet. I mean, there's a chance. I mean, we could see he could come back and align with Fatu and Jimmy, and then turn on him. Be like semi-interesting. At least it would be a bit of a twist. But I didn't. Nah.
I don't know. I'm interested in Talatonga. I think he looks ridiculously good.
Tala, the tall guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to be great. We've just got to suffer this mediocrity for a while, and then eventually, I've got no question that Fatu, Solo, and this tall guy, are going to be fantastic. But I'm not bothered about the storyline at the moment. I'm really not.
Dave, I know you really want to talk about it. Fraxium.
Oh, the Fraxium bubble has burst.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on? They've spent like 8 to 10 weeks building Fraxium on SmackDown since WrestleMania, and then they lose to a team that was thrown together the week before.
Yes, but
I know. Don't get me wrong.
They are amazing.
Yeah, I know.
That match was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was, but that shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. No, too soon. You don't shit on Fraxium that quick.
You got something coming.
After spending all that time building them up, it's madness.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't understand it. As I said to you before the show, I don't get why everyone's feuding with the Wyatts, and then Andrade and Fenix are having normal tag matches with tag teams and just go and beat Fraxium. Just stops all their momentum, doesn't it? It's not to say that Andrade and Fenix are not good. They are great, but
phenomenal.
Just
absolutely phenomenal.
Makes no creative sense. You've said the bubbles burst on Fraxium. The whole tag team division's burst at the moment for me. It was the best thing on SmackDown, and now it's kind of like, okay, what's going on?
Is it just because we're not used to having a very good tag division? Because for the last 30 or 20 odd years, the tag division scene has been pretty fucking dog shit. But you go back to year 2000, 2001, when you had Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys, APA, Too Cool, Kai and Tai,
New Age
Right to
Outlaws.
Censor, New Age Outlaws. You had like 10, 11, maybe even 12 teams that were all of them possible tag title contenders rotating through into feuding with each other, and you didn't always need to have the belts involved. I think we've just been conditioned for all this time to have Big Show and Jericho, and then Jericho and someone else, and then Big Show and someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like just made up tag teams that no one gives a fuck about because they're thrown together. Yes, Phoenix and Andrade have just been put together, but they have history. People who are. I
don't think that's. I mean, I might be wrong, Fraz, but I don't think that's your issue, and it's certainly not my issue that two men have been thrown together. And I've lost count how many times me and Fraz both said how absolutely phenomenal they were and how good the match was. What I have a problem with is you've built a tag team for 10 weeks and then you've shit on them.
But they haven't. They built them for 3 weeks.
No, they didn't.
Then they didn't face anyone for about 6 weeks, and then they had a week where they lost to.
They were still. Phoenix. No, it was more than 3 weeks, wasn't it?
It was. They haven't had a match since Backlash. They haven't had a match on SmackDown since Backlash.
Again, that's not my point. The point is that where are the tag matches on SmackDown?
Well, indeed,
we were having 2 or 3 every show for the last 4 or 5 months. In fact, since the new year, and anything good that came out of SmackDown was tag team. And for the last 6 weeks, since the Wyatts returned,
I mean the whole tag division's
died a death.
Not just Fraxium, and
it's died a death, and that's my main issue is that, and that's why I find it particularly strange that you've got Andrade and Phoenix have come out of nowhere as a tag team, fought last week in a match, and then fought this week in a match, and then they're buried fucking Fraxium.
Yeah, which
whether you agree with that or not, and it's totally up to you. But you don't go have a team that's undefeated and beat the Street Profits who were the champs, and then
that's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I think. I mean, hot. You know, we spoke on some of our other videos about hot potato titles. You know, back in the day, if everybody's over, and one of the things we've loved about the tag division this year is that any tag team has beaten any tag team. You know, and that's fun. That's cool. I completely agree with you, Andy. You know, back in the day, Too Cool could beat the APA. It doesn't really hurt them. It's good. Everybody's over, and we kind of got this tag division to the same place. That all I'm sort of saying is, you like, and Fraz put it a lot better than me. You know, you've got this team. You've brought this team up from NXT. You've pushed them and you've pushed them to the point where they've beaten the tag team champions in a non-title match, and then they're buried. They haven't been hot potatoed for the last 8 weeks, or however many weeks they've wrestled out of those 8 weeks. The other teams have hot potatoed, so it would have made more sense for them to beat another team. That's all I'm saying. And then maybe Andrade and Phoenix could have built to fight in Fraxium, and that could have been a number 1 contenders tag title match for the tag titles. I just think that would have meant more. It's almost, it's Austin walking out because he doesn't want to lose to Brock Lesnar for no reason. If I was Fraxium, I'd be saying, I don't understand this. Yes, we can put a fantastic match on, but this gives everybody nothing. It gives the fans one good match, but the match means nothing. It doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't. Clap my hands, fantastic half an hour. I'm not taking that away from it, but I'm not invested. I don't really get and now I'm not invested at all in Fraxium because I'm like, well, that's it. Don't care about them now.
So I will posit it this way. What I said, obviously, we all agree that the 2000-2001 tag scene was pretty good as a rule. So the Wyatt Six have come in. Okay, granted they haven't won the belts yet, but the Wyatt Six have come in, and I've got feelings about the Wyatt Six. I've already explained the fact that I think they're actually kind of hard to book, but essentially I don't. I love the concept, but I don't think they should be involved in the tag division. I think it should be Howdy, and that's it. All the rest should be backup, and then they can have interchangeable matches if they like, but don't go for titles.
That's a good shout. I like that.
That way, it doesn't put a pressure on them to change anything in the tag division. What the tag division has become is you've got all these really excellent tag teams in place, and then you've inserted with Wyatt Six and with Andrade and Phoenix, and the way I don't like using the term buried because I personally don't think Fraxium are buried any more than any of the other teams are, but they've taken to it like the Brothers of Destruction used to. like Austin and Hunter did when they did the 2-man power trip and they won the tag straps. You've basically got a team or 2 teams that have been put together or come into the division that have just are going to dominate, that are going to be the new thing, and it sort of moves everyone that was the top tier, the S tier, just down a peg. And then you've got teams like Motor City Machine Guns that were not S tier but A tier. They're going to be B tier. Pretty Deadly going to be C tier. You know, in terms of the rankings, well, one of them's injured, but in terms of where they stand in the rankings, they're all going to have to shift down a bit because these guys have come in at the top. And it's just like how we understand that and putting up with the fact that in terms of common sense and suspension of disbelief, it's like, well, why have these guys come in? I don't think Fraxium are buried, because I don't think you can be off TV for 10 weeks for the most part, not having a match for 8 weeks and then be buried. I don't think one match buries them, and especially a match that good. I think they can come back next week or a week after and fight DIY, have another great match and win and be straight back to the top again. But
I think
whether that happens, who knows?
I agree with the Wyatt stuff, and I think actually I totally see where you're going. I think they've almost come into the tag division.
You're preaching to the converted here.
Sorry, just needed to make sure my door was shut.
Right. I stopped talking. They've almost come into the tag division, the Wyatts, and made themselves more important than the tag titles. And like subsequently, to your point, Andy, that then pushes everything down. So it's like the Wyatts, the tag titles, the number one contenders, and then everyone else drops down. So yeah, it is a weird one. But yeah, for me, it has dented. For me, it's just dented Fraxium. Because, like I say, all the other tag teams have hot potatoed and they haven't yet. And I was just like, oh, it was such a good match. It was such a good match. I just think it was wasted.
It was such a good. Sorry.
No,
I was just going to say it was such a good match compared to the 10-man tag that they had, which I thought was pretty shit.
Oh god, that was dreadful, wasn't it?
I didn't think it was much of anything. And again, I think it's something to do with the White Six. You're booking them in a division that doesn't deserve them, doesn't need them.
Well, you booked them in against one individual from each other team, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. And I posited the idea like 2 weeks ago. I said, stick one member from each team in with them, stick Candice in as well to make it an intergender, have a laugh, right? But it doesn't work because you can't have people beat the White Six. They're an idea, they're an entity, they're Bray. You know, it's the same problem Bray had with his booking the whole time he was there. How do you have anyone beat the Fiend? You can't. You end up with Hell in a Cell 20, whatever it was, and in a red thing with the disqualifications in Hell in a Cell. It's bollocks. It doesn't work.
It's a bit like Kane to begin with. You know?
Yeah,
it's like
massively.
You know the first 2 times he lost, he got hit with 3 tombstones, and the second time he was set on fire, and then it was like, okay, we'll start to drop it. But really, he only lost to Taker for like most of his first year. So it's so hard to book. I completely agree. I do completely agree with everything you've just said. The only bit I'm just upset about is I do think it's damaged Fraxium more than you do. But I mean, that's just my opinion. But I totally agree with everything else you've just said about the tag division.
Cool. Let's move on to Raw.
Let's get Raw.
Bron Breakker, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman declaring war on Sammy and who else? Penta. Help me out. Who was the last one?
Jay
Uso. That's it.
Yite.
Still disappointed they haven't got a name. But what I did like is that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker had a bit of time. TV time. And on the mic as well, which is cool. And Seth didn't say too much this week, which is lovely. Thoughts?
I thought Bron was excellent. I mean, he had a little bit of Scott. There was a little bit of Scott there with the nonsensical shit, but there was enough to keep it reined in a little bit. But I loved it. I thought he was fucking excellent. And he was getting so hot and so upset about it. And you could tell it was funny as. And Paul speaking a bit of Spanish and Seth turning and going, when the fuck did this guy learn how to speak Spanish? Which was
Yeah,
classic.
he did, didn't he?
And,
Yeah.
Bronson was okay. I think Bronson needed help. I think he got the help he needed from, was it Seth or Paul? But he got put over by one of the other two a bit after he said his piece. I think it was Seth who said, this guy's the man or whatever. But yeah, he sort of got helped out a little bit just because, yeah, I don't think he's that natural with the mic, but he'll get there.
Yeah, I
The
think from his
individual
point
matches. Sorry, Dave.
No, you're all right. You go.
No, I was just going to say, the individual matches were good as well, weren't they? In particular, Mr. Rollins and Mr. Penta.
Very good. Solid.
Yeah. I thought this whole Raw was fantastic for them. I mean, when Breaker snatched the mic at the beginning, I wrote in my notes, "Is the trio dead already? You know, this is too early to tease this. This is just, can't be breaking up yet. This is crazy." And like 5 minutes later, it's just absolutely fantastic. I thought his promo was awesome. I totally get what Andy said. I loved it. It was Scott-ish. It was real. It was raw. It was intense. That's what you want from him. But at the same time, I do think there was a measure of control. I do think he knew what he was doing. He wasn't just completely wild animal, which was good. Great to hear Paul Heyman talk. We've been saying, what the hell have they got Paul Heyman for if he's not going to talk? Seth Rollins is so good on the mic. Why is he surrounding himself with Paul Heyman? Well, that's why. That's how awesome he is. Bronson, yeah, reminded me a bit of Batista, early evolution. You give him the mic and he just roars and then you get it back again. That's fine. It will come. And they'll work with that. Breaker's definitely the more Orton-y. You know, he's got that. He's coming. 20 years of dominance, he said, didn't he? And then the matches. I mean, if this was 1997 and they had spray paint, they'd be the NWO, wouldn't they? Because they absolutely cleaned house. And this is what, basically, for me, I went from having an almost nervous breakdown, thinking they're about to start the breakup of this group already. And by the end of the show, I was like, well, this is what I've been waiting for months. They've just absolutely cleaned house. I mean, Zayn's out, Tsunami City on Jay, and Seth vs Penta. And, you know, it's a guy coming over from AEW to fight arguably the best talent in the WWE for the last 10 years. I was sitting there going, fuck, this is like RVD coming over to wrestle Shawn Michaels. This is a monster match on Raw. And it was great. And not only that, not only did it absolutely nail all that group, this is the Raw for this group we've been waiting for, but even LA Knight, he is over. This is monster. He is megastar, whether you like him or not, coming out very Austin-esque to us, you know, diving in through the crowd, hitting a stunner, walking out. It's very similar, but the crowd are absolutely loving it. I wasn't sure about LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. I wasn't sure I'd be bothered about it. I can't wait for this match now on Saturday. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. These three and what they did on Raw for me, great Raw. If you can tell, I kind of liked it.
Agree with everything you just said, Davey, to be honest with you.
Yeah, even LA Knight.
Even LA Knight.
Yeah, it's not a secret that I'm not his biggest fan, but it's nice that he's getting his flowers. It's nice that he's involved in main event stuff. Who knows if it leads to some kind of main event against Goldberg when he beats Gunther on Saturday night.
I mean, Goldberg came out and sweated a bit, didn't he? Which was nice.
He did, didn't he?
We got a tease for Roman Reigns. We got Damage Control, who we said had broken up, but are now back, but only two of them as
the Kabuki Warriors.
The Kabuki Warriors. Great.
Which is what they were before Damage Control.
Well. Yeah, I know, but you just think the whole point was they'd split that group up. Asuka, they've built saying she's coming back, she's got her old music back, she's come back, she's in the Queen of the Ring, and now she's back in a tag team. Great. Whoop-de-doo-dah. Really? I thought that was really disappointing. And for me, if you ever give Lara Valkyrie a live microphone again, I'm going to turn the TV off. Because that was absolutely awful.
She's weak, isn't she? I don't like her. I like her look. I like her in ring, but Mike is just cringe for me at the minute.
Yeah, she comes across really disingenuous and fake. You know, she comes across like an actor, and it's like, I get we're acting, it's wrestling, I get that, but you know, she comes across like a bad actor. If you're watching a film and someone's a bad actor in a film, you'd say, film was great, you know, the character was all right. I'm glad they shot that person at the end, but fucking hell, they were shit at delivering their lines.
Do you know? So you say that. Do you know what she gives me? She gives me holiday camp wrestling show promo delivery.
Like,
it sounds forced, cringe, emotionless delivery where it's all put on. Like it's everything's put on. Nothing feels natural. It's like I watched when I trained and when I went around all these places with the team I was with, I'd listen to these guys cutting promos and I'd be like, my God, can you fucking liven up a bit? Have some passion, show some commitment to it instead of just reading your lines. It's fucking embarrassing. Like, and they'd be like, what do you mean? I'd be like, try and deliver it like this. And I was like, be chastised for being a newbie and a trainee who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I'd be like, look, it's very simple delivery. That's all. But yeah. It's how I feel about Lara. In the ring, I can't touch her, but on the mic, she needs work.
Yeah,
I think she's great. I don't know what you two are fucking watching.
Shut up.
Different.
Shut
She's
up.
fantastic. She's definitely the next Booker T. Anyway,
Stevie Ray, maybe.
After you took my job, David of News Drop. Thank you, though.
I didn't take.
You didn't.
Gave you my opinion.
We didn't mention the man standing behind Andrew.
I was going to get to that actually, but you've interrupted me to take back over. So
oh no, sorry, Dave. I've got to say something on this video, otherwise it's just going to be you and Andy, isn't it?
Did you? Sorry,
I thought he was all right. I thought he was pretty good, considering he's injured or he's been injured.
I like the fact he's lost weight and gained height. I thought that was really impressive.
He's the even bigger Americano.
Yeah.
Will they modify his name?
No.
El Grande Americano.
El Vente Americano.
What's supersize coffee?
Vente. 20.
Oh, there you go. Vente, Grande Americano. I don't know. I don't drink coffee. But yeah, interesting. So who do we think is under the mask in
Omos.
this? Not quite sure.
He's bigger.
I thought Savio Vega, but I could be wrong.
Have I got him in my? No, that's right.
It's not on your bingo card.
No,
That's
can
always rely
Mercy.
on me.
I've also been told that it could be Tiffany Stratton's new boyfriend. Sorry, Charlotte Flair's new boyfriend. So,
Divorce number 4 on its way.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always. I'm going to hand it over to you two for the rest of the show. And the next segment is From the Vault with Dirty Dave. Take it over, Ring Historian. I'm sure you've got some wonderful facts this week.
You feel free to interrupt me as much as you like.
No, it's okay. I don't know what you're going to say. If I did, then I would.
You asked for our opinions, so you can't be angry that you get it.
I think we were talking about Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed.
Which I did.
Let's crack on.
It's been a pretty poor week in wrestling history, actually. Haven't really got much to say. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Only.
Yeah, and that was cutting it down. It's really tough. It's a really tough one. So let's just start, shall we? Start a little bit somber. It was obviously the anniversary of the London terrorist bomb in the Tube on the 5th. Of course, that is synonymous in wrestling because on SmackDown on the same day, they decided to air Muhammad Hassan and a bunch of terrorists attacking The Undertaker. So that happened this week in 2005.
Just before you crack on, I am going to interrupt. Is that when Muhammad Hassan got on his knees in the aisle?
That's a different film.
And then that's a different film. And then they all just dove in the ring and beat the fuck out of Taker, didn't they? Yeah.
Yep.
As it was so distasteful, I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Oh, it's classic. Sorry, but you crack on.
On that note, let's that's the most somber scenario. Let's move to 1998 because I'm not going to do this in any date order. This was also the week that the Nation of Domination absolutely dominated and took over Raw. But it wasn't the Nation of Domination, was it? It was DX doing their famous Nation parody when Triple H comes out dressed as The Rock with the European title with IC written on it, and Miz Ark Henry, X-Pac, coming out. That's right, that amazing DX parody of the Nation. That was this week on Raw. As Farid was so excited about my Ultimate Warrior post last week about him fighting The Undertaker, I thought I'll give you some fantastic Ultimate Warrior facts. So here are 2 really significant facts about the Ultimate Warrior. In 1987, this week in wrestling history, he debuted in the WWF as the Dingo Warrior. That only lasted, that was his name in previous wrestling. Then he moved very quickly to Ultimate Warrior. The reason that's really important is because this week in wrestling history in 1996, he wrestled his last match in the WWF. It was on Monday, taped show of Monday Night Raw, and he faced Owen Hart. So there you go. Started and ended his WWF career in the same week. Just 9 years difference. So,
shame it wasn't the same week.
Well, yeah, WrestleMania 6 was all right, and his match with Savage was cool, so I can get past that. Because we did a really great video about Kings of the Ring, and there was a little bit of controversy about when the King of the Ring started, this week in wrestling history, in front of 23,000 fans, Don Morocco won the first ever King of the Ring in 1985. I'm just going to say it, okay? And also, in this week in wrestling history, in 1988, Haku was crowned King of the Ring. So there you go. King of the Ring, well before 1993. It's a fact. It's in the book. It's on Google. It's on Wikipedia. All that.
When did you say Haku won that? 1998?
88.
88. I was going to say.
Pay attention, for God's sake. Also, last week, you'll know that I told you about how the NWO came out and interrupted Vince McMahon's fantastic "I want ruthless aggression" speech, where he had everybody in the ring. And I said that, remember what happened next week, people? That's right. This is the week Kevin Nash came back and tore his quad. That's right. He was in the ring 6 seconds and bang. He didn't even get to do his 5 moves of doom. He was out. And unlike Triple H, he cried like a baby and rolled outside the ring. He did not finish the match. Shawn Michaels had to come in and super kick everyone, and he wasn't even a wrestler at the time. So there you go. Nash is out.
In the ring? Didn't he snap it getting in the ring? Like,
no,
he literally went through the ropes, didn't he?
He got in. Did he send Booker T against the ropes? There was a duck,
over or something,
and then he went to give him a big boot, and then he tripped over him, and it was just, it's just, and he was in plastic pants as well. He's just, for Christ's sake, it's just game over, isn't it, really? In 1986, Bruno Sammartino had his last ever WWF match in Madison Square Garden. That is really important because Bruno Sammartino still holds the record for the most sellouts in Madison Square Garden. You can go and Google that and put that in the comments if you find out how many he's had. I know, I'm not going to tell you now. Put it in the comments because we don't get enough comments. So hurry up and comment. Go and Google it, go and find it and comment. I've got a WCW one for you. Do you like a bash at the beach?
I do.
Some fantastic things happen when you bash at the beach, especially if your name's Hulk Hogan. That's right. In 1996 in Daytona Beach, Florida, Hulk Hogan revealed himself, not in a sexual way, as the third man. That's right. He came out and interrupted the Randy Savage Lex Luger Sting match against the Outsiders. What did he do? Dropped a ridiculous leg drop on Randy Savage and joins and forms the New World Order. A little fact note on this: the marketing genius behind the NWO symbol and T-shirt was a random girl doing a random, what do they call it, like an internship? That's right. They gave her 10 minutes to make a design that said New World Order on it, and that is the famous design, one of the most famous T-shirts, the only T-shirt really at the time to rival Austin's 316 T-shirt. She didn't get paid a penny in royalties for that either.
It was also probably the reason why we have paper straws now, because the amount of plastic cups they threw in the ring that night led to that.
That's
fucking
right.
Ridiculous.
That was insane. I think Mean Gene Oakland got hit on the head. That's not good. A plus side for Hogan is also in 1998 on Nitro, he lost the title to Goldberg. Goldberg became the first ever undefeated World Heavyweight Champion. He beat Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan on the same night in the Georgia Dome. Just over 40,000 fans for a Nitro. And just like we mentioned earlier with Fraxium, a bit of a wasted opportunity for this match. Surely it should have been a pay-per-view. Surely it should have been a bit more important. But it did draw fantastic numbers at a time when it was about ratings. Who knows? Speaking about ratings, it doesn't really matter when you've bought both your competitions. In 2001, when the WWF has bought WCW and ECW, who cares? Who cares about ratings? I don't think WWE did because they weren't doing much. WCW certainly wasn't doing much. It was so bad to the point that actually on this week in wrestling history, on Raw, ECW joined WCW and formed officially the Alliance to start the big build towards the Invasion pay-per-view. That's right. We don't have enough WCW stars, so we're going to bring all the existing WWF stars that came from ECW like 2, 3, 4 years ago and have been wrestling here and everybody loves them. We're going to make them ECW again and join them with WC. But yeah. Anyway, that didn't last long, did it? That wasn't that good.
My childhood, that storyline. Don't shit on the Invasion. I fucking love the Invasion.
It ruined my teenagehood.
No, man, I was full on into the Invasion angle. I was 14 and I'd been a WCW late 99 and 2000 kid, so I was enjoying WCW 2000, believe it or not, and I was all in on Sean O'Hare, Chuck Palumbo, Meat. I loved Sean Stasiak. I thought he was the man. Mark Jindrak, Chronic. I was all in on that.
I love Chronic. So, yeah, they shit on Chronic.
On time, Brian Lee and Brian Adams. Yeah, fucking right. But I liked the Invasion. I really liked the Invasion pay-per-view. It was like one of the best.
I liked the Invasion pay-per-view at the time. I did like the Invasion pay-per-view at the time, and actually, I did like ECW. It's just they'd all been working there for 2 years, so it was like that was just a bit weird.
Is it right that the only ECW superstar that they actually brought in was Rob Van Dam? Like he was actually the only one they brought in because everyone else was already working.
Everyone else was already working there, yeah, because they brought Spike in just before WrestleMania 17.
Like Mike Awesome had already made the switch, as had Raven.
He was in WCW, yeah. They were in
Lance Storm.
WWE. Actually, no, yeah, because he was in WCW.
Yeah, Lance Storm was in WCW. Mike Awesome was WCW.
Yeah.
Saturn was already Radical.
It was literally Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam was the only one.
And he had that outstanding match with Jeff Hardy.
No, Rhino. Even Rhino was WWE.
Oh, yeah. So. Oh, no. Yeah, Rhino came in before WrestleMania 17 as well. So, yeah. It just could have been better, couldn't it? Let's be fair. But mind you, everything in wrestling could be better. Speaking of things that could be better, Hogan's formed the NWO. He's lost the World Heavyweight title. It's only fair he wins it back again in 2000. And as Andy just said, he loved 2000 WCW, so he must love this match. It's possibly the greatest title match in Bash of the Beach history. It lasts about 8 seconds. It is the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett, losing his World Heavyweight title to Hollywood Hulk Hogan, where he just lays down in the middle of the ring. And Hulk Hogan knows nothing about it. Vince Russo chucks the belt in the ring, and everybody storms off at the end. And if that's not crazy enough, in a made-up world where nothing is real because it's a script and it's written down, both parties sued each other over their involvement in it. That's right, Hogan sued WCW, WCW countersued. What? For real?
There was three awesome things about that night, weren't there?
Just hang on. The same people who criticised Bret Hart for saying he doesn't want to lose the title to a fucking knobhead in Canada, right, because it sets a bad example, right? They actually physically spent their own money suing each other about a made-up situation in a ring. Okay, fine. Okay.
But that's not the coolest thing that happened that night.
It isn't. Gone then. I'll let you have this.
The promo Vince Russo cuts is fucking gold.
That is gold.
Your boy, Booker T, wins the fucking world title that night.
Bro.
It's fucking amazing.
GI, bro. Yes. No, it's very good. Right. Last one for Fraz, and I realise I've put some WCW ones in it, but I just did that because it's NWO week. You kind of have to, don't you? In 1990, Vader debuts in WCW with this massive plastic head thing that blows steam out of it.
The Mastodon head. Yeah.
Something beginning with M. Mastodon head. Right, one more, and then I'll get to Andy's, because I did hit you with yours, Fraz, and Andy's patiently waited. But the reason I've done this is because there's quite a long list. Also, last one from Nitro. On this week in wrestling history, Nitro became perfect because Kurt Hennig debuted on Nitro. If you don't believe me about how perfect he was a member of the NWO, a member of the Four Horsemen, and the leader of the West Texas Rednecks.
The West
Testicle, who thinks rap is crap, and I would still listen to that song now. As a matter of fact, why in God's name was that not in our best entrance themes ever? Oh, we didn't do WCW, did we?
Rap is crap.
We're still to do WCW, and I think that's a hell of a video.
We need to do that. We need to do that. Right, okay. 2 for Andy.
All right.
And then we're done. See, I've got through them pretty quick. Andy, CM Punk. Do you like CM Punk?
He's all right.
Do you like Ring of Honor?
I love Ring of Honor.
Did you like it when, on this day in 2005, he signed his WWE contract on top of the Ring of Honor title live on Ring? Well, I said not live, it's taped, and on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah, I believe that wasn't Death Before the Sun. No, when was that?
I can't. No, I didn't get the name.
Think
sorry,
it wasn't the same night he won it. I think it was the next show.
No. He just brought. Yeah, he brought it out and signed it on top of the belt after he'd won it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And the reason this is slightly long is, what are your views on Jim Cornette?
He's a prick.
Ah, right. So you'll be pleased to know that on the exact same day that CM Punk signed his Ring of Honor contract on his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor title belt, Jim Cornette was fired from WWE and Developmental and OVW. WWE has reached an agreement. I've got to read this. I know we're unscripted, but we're not at the moment because this is too much to read. But he's been fired. Also, Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray were fired. And also, get ready for this list of people: Joy Giovanni, Kenzo Suzuki, Matt Morgan, Charlie Haas, Jackie Gator, Marty Jannetty, because remember in 2005 he'd come back to fight Kurt Angle and did a Rockers reunion. Dawn Marie, Mark Jindrak, Maven, Shannon Moore, James Yun, Akio, Gangrel. That's right, they hired him back for a one-off show on SmackDown to come out and attack Taker, but they actually signed him to a proper contract and then just released him 2 weeks later. Makes sense, doesn't it? Billy Kidman, Spike Dudley, and Kevin Feuds. I don't know who that is. That's a developmental.
Mordecai.
I know it's not. I checked that. It's a different name. Yeah, he's Kevin Feuds something. Yeah, it's not. I did check that. Yeah, it's close. It is very, very close. Either that or they've spelled it wrong on WWE.com. But I've got the screenshot and I was like, that's not him. But it's close. So yeah, a very happy day for you because CM Punk obviously wins the Ring of Honor title the night before and then signs his WWE contract on it. It's very controversial, very WCW. And then Jim Cornette gets sacked on the same day and half of the SmackDown roster from what it looks like. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. There's one other thing. Right, off topic, like off record. You know, I sent you guys a few messages that I'd had some feedback from a couple of people about the show. One of the thing was, even though I very clearly explained that for me, Sunday is still part of the previous week. It's not part of the new week. Do you remember? And I said that technically Sunday's the first day of the week. So I got some feedback to say that I wasn't allowed to mention some of the stuff I mentioned last week. I should have waited till this week, and I got really like Israel. So just very briefly, because I don't want to take too much time talking about it, because obviously I did speak about it in the last show, but it was on Sunday. It was Canadian Stampede, which was a great pay-per-view. If I don't know if anyone can remember it, it had a really good 10-man tag match with the whole Hart Foundation in, and it's really, really good because it was 2 days after Bret Hart's birthday. Which was last week. So in case you missed last week's show, people, last week was Bret Hart's birthday. This week's Canadian Stampede. I'm really sorry about the mistake I made. I don't know how I'm going to get this one in next week, but I am going to find a way. And that is from the vault this week, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
As always.
He talked about Canadian Stampede a lot less than I thought he was going to. I thought I was actually going to have a chance to have a pee there, but yeah.
Magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I'm a
Tough this
little
week. Tough this week.
disappointed
Super.
with all the talk from Nitro and WCW. There was no mention of Disco Inferno or Alex Wright. However, there are
Dust
several
Wonder
weeks
Kid.
in the year. Yeah, there are
Yeah,
several
well,
weeks in the year.
I only
There are
put
several
WCW.
shows. Yeah, no, that's
I only-
fine. You can talk about them next time.
It was NWO week. You just couldn't, and that opened up an avenue, and it was like, oh Christ, Mr. Perfect's involved, and yeah, it's just great, isn't it? So,
Well, it moves us nicely on to this week's hot take with your kayfabe assassin, Mr. Andi Nero. You have the floor, sir.
let's get hot.
Okay, you may have noticed, viewers and colleagues, there's a little thing we don't talk about a lot on this channel. It's AEW. Now, I am a big AEW fan, believe it or not. I enjoy WWE and I love AEW. I love all wrestling, as it's been well established. I enjoy TNA, I enjoy Ring of Honor, I enjoy all of it. I'm not tribal, I'm not partisan. However, there are some that are, and that's fucking annoying, to be honest with you. So here's my hot take this week, and it is scripted, and I do apologise, but I will read it verbatim. Let me set the record straight for all the armchair bookers out there. AEW storytelling is not broken like it's well established, like it's supposed to be. Everyone says it, oh, it's broken. Tony Khan hasn't got a fucking clue what he's talking about or doing. It's just not spoon-fed to you like it is in the Fed. If you're tuning in expecting a narrator, a 2-minute recap, and a musical montage by Creed before every single match, you're watching the wrong show. AEW respects its audience enough to assume that you're actually following along. And if you're not, that's just on you. People love to say that AEW has no stories, but Hangman Page's journey to the world title, that was a 2-year odyssey built on subtle moments, doubt, and redemption. MJF went from troll heel to one of the most layered anti-heroes in the business without losing a step. Punk versus MJF, that entire feud was amazing. The Elite's inner collapse, Swerve's rise, the stories are all there. You just actually have to watch. The problem? Well, WWE has trained its fans to expect paint-by-numbers booking, as has been shown by recent events. AEW gives you nuance, consequences, history, and if you miss a promo or skip a Dynamite, you might actually just miss a whole beat, but that's not bad storytelling. That's layered storytelling, and it's must-see TV. Now, I cannot say hand on heart that they get it right 100% of the time, because they don't. Let's talk about the current situation with Moxley and the Death Riders. Moxley is excellent in the ring. It's long established that he was one of the best wrestlers WWE had, and he's a walking storm cloud with a microphone. One of the most intense guys in the game. Lately, his arc just hasn't really been much of a masterclass. It's been a bit reminiscent or reticent of the Bloodline angle, without any of that cool Bloodline heat. He's just been there, angry, bloodied up, dominant again and again and again, and it's felt like motion without meaning. We know what Mox is capable of emotionally. We've seen it. So when his recent stories have feel like violent exhibitions instead of narrative escalation, I get the criticism. I do understand. This is not peak Mox. It's a bit water treading. But here's the thing. AEW has planted seeds, even when it feels like nothing's happening. We've got All In Texas this weekend, which, coincidentally enough, WWE has counterbooked to fuck. That's where I think all of these stories will explode. That's where Mox will finally snap, or the Death Riders may come to an end. That's where all of this chaos and control, the quiet and the blood, finally clash in a moment that matters. AEW loves a long burn, and this could be it. So yeah, maybe the Death Riders story hasn't been all it's cracked up to be, but maybe, just maybe, Adam Page will bring it home this weekend, and we'll see a resurgence within AEW's fan representation. Fandom, I guess, is the one way of putting it. Yeah. So again, to cap off, AEW storytelling is not the problem. Your attention span is, and Mox and Hangman are about to prove it. And there it is. Basically, if you're partisan and tribalistic about what you watch and why, don't be. Love wrestling, enjoy all wrestling for all it's cracked up to be. Thoughts, feelings, boys?
Super hot take. I think The hot take is the product's not crap. You as a viewer is. Way
Yep.
to get you. Way to get them on side, Andy. Let's see how that works.
No, absolutely. If you don't choose to watch something because you think you've missed a few episodes and you don't know what's going on, that's not on them. That's on you. We
Yeah,
don't
but
have to
that- yeah,
explain it
yeah,
to
yeah.
you, waterboarding it to you every week to make sure you're up to date with it. Watch old episodes, catch up.
I'll jump in.
Hmm?
Yeah. For a long time, AEW has been spots over storyline. Production value compared to WWE, there's no comparison. And you've got that rich history. I mean, you talk about history with AEW. They've only been going 6 years. And most of the people on there that you're invested in are WWE guys or ex-WWE guys.
Nope, not at
only
all.
recently. Only recently. You talk about Swerve.
You
How long
mentioned
Swerve
Punk.
been going? Couple of years. You know, Jericho, Cody
Can't call
Rhodes,
Swerve an ex-WWE guy.
Mox. No. I'm not calling him an ex-WWE guy. I'm just saying he's only really when did he become champion? About 18 months ago. When did he become relevant? Yeah. You know, so for me, I'll never go, I'm going to watch AEW over WWE purely on the basis that I'm invested in WWE and I don't have the time to watch another couple of wrestling shows a week when I know that when I did give it a chance, matches are mad, but they chose that over telling me a story. You're talking about Hangman Page over the last 2 years as an odyssey. I was too busy watching possibly the greatest storyline of all time, which was the Bloodline.
I think it's similar
Just
to
my
ECW,
thoughts.
isn't it?
I'm not even finished yet, Dave. I'm not finished. If I really wanted to watch AEW, I would. But I'm not into them bringing in people like Daniel Bryan to try and elevate the product and Dean Ambrose when I wasn't interested in him in WWE in the first place. I like MJF. I think he's great. I think he's quality. But where does he want to be? What does he always talk about WWE for? Because he knows it's a superior product. He knows it's going to sell, doesn't he? He's being controversial. But I'm sure if I sat down and watched a few episodes on a weekly basis, I would get into it just like I would the WWE. It's just not as good. And that's the reason why I watch them and not AEW.
I was just going to say, I think for me, back in the day, it reminds me far more of ECW than WCW. I think that there was a Raven storyline for 2.5 years in ECW, and some of the storylines in ECW were absolutely fantastic. But you did have to watch it every single week. It was doing wrestling in a different way, and that was good. But it was in a bingo hall. It was hard to watch. It was almost like the fans were almost too hardcore, and you sort of like the casual fan almost didn't feel welcome. I think I get that a lot from AEW fan base online. I just think, oh my God, unless I absolutely masturbate over this, I can't even talk about it. So it puts me off already because I just think I can't just casually enjoy it because everyone's, oh, you don't get it, you just blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, fine, well, okay, I won't watch it then. Yeah, and there are some good points, but yeah, ECW did very similar things. Took WCW talent and took WWE talent and made them better in some ways, but also it brought people over that just weren't doing anything. And I think Daniel Bryan's a great wrestler, but did they do anything fantastic with his character? And did he rejuvenate? And no, he was just as fantastic as he could always be. Moxley's just taken it up a massive notch, but have they shattered the ceiling with any of them? Have they revolutionised any of them? Or have they just lived off their names? For me, they've just lived off their names. I really don't think they've revolutionised. You know, we're not talking stunning Steve Austin leaving WCW, going to ECW and cutting promos on Hogan and Dusty Rhodes, earning himself a WWE contract and coming back and being the best wrestler ever in the history of the WWF. We're nowhere near that. We're just nowhere near. And there's too many wrestlers that have moved over that they've tried to invest in, to boost their product. Where I haven't seen any extra value out of them. I hate Edge now. I just don't think he's done anything. Christian's done all right, yeah, but he's just dialed himself up a bit. It's not enough. It's just not enough to pull me over. And when I do get sucked in, I get put off by a lot of the internet wrestling community fans, because it's almost like, oh Christ, if I'm not all in, I can't be allowed to enjoy it. So I just go, okay, I'm not going to waste 3 more hours, or not waste, that's not what I mean, but I'm not going to invest 3 more hours of my week in further wrestling that I just don't feel I can get into.
Well,
I mean, I never liked. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I've got a few things I'd like to respond to, if I may. What you said about spots, couldn't agree less. The actual match quality. This weekend, you've got Okada versus Omega, which I know Meltzer is a matter of conjecture. You can or you don't have to agree with everything he says, and most people don't, and I see why. But if you actually watch the matches that they had in New Japan, if you take the time out to actually observe those matches, even if you just catch highlights of them, they are putting on week in and week out some of the best available wrestling you can watch on TV. It's not all just spots. A lot of it is, okay, fair enough. You've got the Bucks, they're spot monkeys. You've got people like Darby Allin, who's a bit of a spot monkey. You've got people, though, that are actually really, really excellent wrestlers, and people that are able to put on significantly better stories within the match than WWE wrestlers can. Bell to bell, some of the matches are superb, and shit on. We spend 3 hours a week, maybe more, 6 hours a week sometimes, watching dross like fucking. Give me a match that was crap this week. The White Six versus the Tag
But that's the point, though, Andy, isn't it? Not every match needs to be 5-star, and actually, it's more important to tell some progression than just. I mean, this for this exact reason, you should love Bret Hart more than anyone else, because he was the best storyteller and the best technician for 20 years in a ring.
I've turned the corner on Bret.
No,
I don't hate him anymore.
I'm not shouting, but I'm just saying. So that it's the same argument, but wrestling is a fake product. It's not real, right? So if you are the best fake puncher, the best fake kicker, the best backflip jumper, the best moves, it doesn't matter. That's why Hulk Hogan was the champion. It doesn't matter. It's a storyline. That's why people watch EastEnders. They don't watch it for Robert De Niro acting. It's whatever the story or the character is, or whatever they can get invested in. You cannot just keep hitting people with 5-star matches, otherwise it means nothing. You are you're blinding people to the point of why there should be a 5-star match. And it's exactly like Dominic Mysterio says, I am 100 times better than you see me every week, but if I give you my 100 best every week, what happens? Where do I go? What happens next? And I agree, there is wrestling, there is some chain wrestling, there is a bit of old school stuff in it, but the Okada match, there will be 5 spots before there's a wrestling hold, and that's fine. If that's what you like, that's absolutely fine. And we see it in WWE. It's not unique to AEW. Wrestling now, pro wrestling now, is a trampoline. It's more like trampolining and gymnastics than it is. If we're going to argue the word wrestling, and want to take the word back to the dictionary definition, nothing we watch now is wrestling. So no, AEW are not putting on the best wrestling ever, and neither are WWE. I completely agree. I completely agree. It's just your preference as to which one you prefer. But honestly, it's like hardcore matches. Once you've seen someone get hit over the head with a barbed wire baseball bat 5 times in 5 weeks, what happens next? I'm not taking away how fantastic the athleticism is and how great these athletes are at performing these amazing feats, but I don't want to see Kenny Omega do the same thing every single week. It means nothing. If he does it every single week, it means I don't have to watch him. It means I can just watch him once a year. It means I haven't missed anything, because it doesn't mean anything.
It's not special.
It's not. That's why
it's
I need
not
story.
Special. It's like, and I'll give you a football analogy here. You look at Man City, and you watch them every week pulverise teams with great possession play and beat them 3-4-0, and it's a walk in the park and it's really dull. But guess what? When they lose, you're like, whoa, Jesus Christ, what's happened there? And that's why probably you've had more people tune into Man City games last season than you would have the last 5-10 years.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
a
different.
good point. Yeah.
And
You
just
need a yin and a yang balance.
You're going back to your AEW stuff. Yeah, they put on killer matches, but what ones of those are you emotionally invested in? You're not really, because they're stop-start on most of their character builds. You only have to look at people like Andrade, Hobbs, Ricky Starks, the people that you think, fucking hell, they're amazing. Well, where are they now? Beating bloody Fraxium on SmackDown. Which I'm thoroughly annoyed about.
So the three boys that came over, I'm talking about specifically, well, was it 2, 3? Rusev, Andrade and Malachi Black. So the 3 big hires.
Yeah.
Rumor has it, and depending on whether you buy the rumor or not, but some of the rumors have been substantiated, is that they refused to lose to anyone that wasn't WWE or former WWE.
That's Andy, you can't believe that bullshit, can you? If you're being paid by your boss, you do as you're fucking told. Are you telling me they've got more stroke than Bret Hart refusing to lose the title after working somewhere for 20 years? You've got to put some context behind this nonsense. There's no way. And I tell you what, if they did say that, Tony Khan's a fucking moron for hiring him. Why would you hire someone and why wouldn't you fire them instantly? You telling me Vince McMahon wouldn't? Come on, you cannot believe that. You just can't.
I'm not saying I believe it or not. I'm just saying that there are reports out there.
That's rubbish. It's just that, and that is my whole problem with AEW fan base. That it's.
Well, speaking on behalf of the fan base, mate.
But who started that? Yeah, but who started that rumor? Who started it? It didn't start. A WWE guy didn't start that rumor, did they? And that's my point. It's like people leave. People swap companies. People prefer what they prefer. I've lived through all this with ECW, AWA, ECW. I know fans love what they love. I haven't once shit on an AEW fan. I've just simply said I don't like that style. That's it. I haven't taken anything away from any of the wrestlers. It just doesn't do it for me. It's too much of the same thing. It is exactly like Fraz said. It is too much good. There's no yin and yang. You just need some balance. Otherwise, what's the point? If, it's like, you used a football analogy, it's tennis, isn't it? If someone wins set, who cares? If you know they're going to win Wimbledon in their first match, who cares? I love the guys. They do fantastic stuff. They do. But I don't care. I don't care. Ospreay's not there enough for me to care. He doesn't lose enough for me to care. He doesn't have bad matches enough for me to care. He doesn't have an off day. It's almost too staged. It's almost, and I get it. It's a stage acting, non-real genre. So it's crazy for me to say, but it's just, ugh. But I do appreciate all the guys. And I absolutely love the hot take being something different, and I love the hot take about
it is
AEW.
quality, and that's good, and that's what it's about, isn't it?
And I love the debate. I really, really do.
Just one more thing I will say. I never liked Bobby Lashley in WWE, so I'm not going to like him in AEW, am I?
This goes back to my track history of what they've done with WWE guys. They haven't done anything that makes me, in any of the guys they've pulled over, that make me think.
Apart from Billy Gunn, obviously.
Well, that took his kids to do that. And the same with Taz. It was his kid that's made him relevant again. They haven't done anything revolutionary with either of them. Billy Gunn doesn't have a revolutionary new career. He's wrestling in the same ring attire he always has done. He says the same sort of things, just slightly tweaks the words, and he wrestles the exact same type of style. He hasn't changed the wrestling business. This is not Hogan going from WWE in yellow and red pants.
Hold on a second.
Turning
he hasn't changed
Hollywood.
The wrestling business. He's a 60-year-old looking like a 30-year-old. He's
and that's there you go. And that's another point. That's all I'm saying.
He's not been hired to revolutionise the business.
It's context and perspective.
Not hired for that purpose.
Context and
Andy,
perspective.
you say that you love AW. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course, he's been hired.
No former WWE superstar who has moved to AEW has moved the needle in the way they want them to. They just haven't.
Jericho.
Yeah, but no, he
Jericho.
He built the
left
company
WWE to join AEW.
Yeah, he built the company.
he had no direction and was fed up with Vince in WWE.
Yeah, well, good for him. Not everybody's happy in their job,
and
but
became Le
what's he
Champion
done?
and literally took them from nothing
Yeah.
to a market leader in terms of top 2 wrestling.
But Chris Jericho has reinvented himself 100 times over in the last 30 years. So he's just continued being Chris Jericho in AEW, and that's great.
You said that there's no one who's a Hogan. No one has done a WCW Hogan.
They haven't.
Jericho.
No, he hasn't.
Jericho.
Of course he hasn't.
They
Right? No,
not
Andy.
A company. They
Andy,
didn't exist.
No, but that wasn't Jericho.
Hogan changed people from watching WWE to watching WCW and having WCW beat WWE. No one has done that. Austin went from WCW to ECW to WWE to get people back to WWE. No one has done that at AEW. There's plenty of time.
For 6 years.
Exactly, that's my point. That's my point. That's my point. That's exactly my point. I'm not going to chuck all my eggs into an AEW basket for 6 years when there's no one.
No one's asking you to chuck all your eggs in. No one's asking you to chuck all your eggs in. When there's no
one that has pulled in any reason for me to pull over. Edge has done nothing. Moxley, yeah, he's all right. I can take him or leave him. Daniel Bryan's fantastic, but has he changed and revolutionised his character and done anything different? Yeah, a few bits, but not enough to revolutionise the way the wrestling or AEW is seen. None of them have, and none of their homegrown talent has done that either. There's no one guy
that brought it up. You're talking about Jericho built AEW.
Yeah.
Well, no, the one guy that did that is now
Cody Rhodes.
Your QB1.
No.
Well, of course he is.
No.
He was there before to sell
Jericho.
An arena out. Yeah, he's the first person to sell an arena
and he got
out
massive
outside of WWE.
From everyone about it. You know that I'm right.
He also booked himself to never win a world title. That was his booking. That was his choice. And then he got pissy about the fact that he wasn't being booked to win the world title.
Yeah, but we're not disputing the fact whether he got pissy.
But there's another excuse. Oh, look at that. Someone's left AEW and gone to WWE, and an AEW fan is then making an excuse as to why he got pissy and went back to WWE.
Why am I being treated like the AEW faithful IWC bum losers? I'm not saying I am.
You're not.
I don't.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
AEW fan. You just said, now you're the AEW fan.
No, because you just said it, mate. That's all I'm saying.
You
just said he got pissy.
I'm just saying the facts.
Okay, so I can't reply to your fact. Is that what you're saying?
No, but you can't treat me like the bum losers that are saying you can't fucking, you shouldn't be.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
I didn't say that.
Like what you like. My exact statement at the end was like what you like, enjoy wrestling, do what you like.
Just forget it. Don't worry about it. You won't have a debate, will you? So it's
no,
fine.
You won't have a debate, big man. I've literally presented you with opportunities.
But no one's listening to what I'm saying.
Go on,
no one's listening to what I'm saying. I don't know why you're talking about pissy and not winning the title. Your original comment was Chris Jericho built and changed and revolutionised wrestling because he made AEW. And I was saying, well, Cody Rhodes did. Cody Rhodes was the one that built that, did he not? And then you just turned around and said, well, he got all pissy. I wasn't saying it. He didn't get pissy.
No. Yeah.
But AEW was in existence because Cody Rhodes created a pay-per-view for indie wrestlers, and then Tony Khan jumped on. And AEW is successful not because of any particular wrestler, because particular wrestling fans, and Dave was one of those fans, that was bored with the WWE product. We all wanted something different. We all wanted something that was engaging, that wasn't Vince McMahon shoved down your throat, you know exactly what's going to happen. And yeah, it was a complete surprise.
Alfie's first wrestling figures were AEW.
The
His
wrestling
first
was
wrestling
great.
ring was AEW.
You had new characters there that you could be invested in. It was awesome. My original point is that it then got too spotty. There was too much stop-start. You couldn't get emotionally invested. There weren't many story arcs that you're like, oh my God, I have to watch this. And then all of a sudden, when they realised things were going on the downturn, they started to get more and more ex-WWE guys in that you weren't really invested in the first place, with the exception of perhaps Dean Ambrose. But Dean Ambrose wasn't like, oh my God, I have to watch Dean Ambrose. He's incredible. the Lunatic Fringe, I'm not going to watch a different promotion because of him. The only one that you'd say that was shit, I've got to watch it, it's Daniel Bryan. And I've never been a Daniel Bryan fan, so again, it's not going to appeal to me. I've already told you both that, yeah, I watch Will Ospreay and I watch Kenny Omega and I watch all these awesome wrestling highlights on my YouTube clips, on my shorts, because I don't watch it. So when I watch it, I'm like, fuck me, that's incredible. But then when I watch an episode, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, every match is like this. And it's almost draining because you're like, fucking hell, I don't want to miss a beat here. But if every match is like that, it then becomes a little bit, whew, when can I go for a piss? You know what I mean? And like, you two just need to listen to each other. And to be fair, Andy, I will say, Dave was just merely saying that, you know, he wasn't labelling you as an internet bum loser. It was just more the fact that Cody Rhodes did piss and cry and moan because he didn't want to win the title. He was just saying that's what AEW fans are making excuses about. It's nothing about you. It's your hot take. And I like your hot take because we've been talking about it for nearly half an hour now. The fact of the matter is, I am a junkyard dog, Brooklyn Brawler, Savio Vega, Doink the Clown Mark, and I'm not going to be going to AEW unless I get really pissed at a horse racing event on Saturday night and decide to watch All In instead of Goldberg against Gunther, which is highly likely.
See, this is the thing. I would implore anyone who's willing to, anyone who wants to try the alternative, to not entertain the Fed's obsession with counter booking, because this is not the first time they've done it. By all means, watch Evolution. I will be the first one to say I'll be watching Evolution on Sunday night. Don't watch Saturday night's main event. Watch it on a replay. It's all available on YouTube anyway. If you've got the opportunity to watch All In, it's going to be a hell of a show. If you want to watch it on wind back and record it so you can pause between each match so you can go for a piss or whatever, then by all means do. But it's going to be excellent viewing from the very beginning to the very end, because you've got things like Okada Omega, Mox and Page. You've got MJF and I think they're facing Swerve, if I remember rightly. But there's going to be lots and lots of really, really good wrestling. It's going to be
I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be some really good matches to watch. But it doesn't take away the fact that WWE rules and AEW fucking sucks ass.
And that's my problem, is that it's easier to just say that sort of shit. And that's not me having a go at you, big man. It's just easy, and it's
you can have a go at me all you want.
He won't have a go at you, and only have a go at me.
You can have a go at me all you want. However, the fact of the matter is...
Right, okay, come on then. Let's finish up.
Yeah, let's finish it up. That, you know, you can watch what you want to watch. I'll watch what I want to watch. Everyone can watch what I want to watch. Just because the last 6 months AEW has started to get better does not mean it's a better product than WWE. That's all it is, isn't it? Because you could be saying the same thing. My round the table this week. Let me pull up my question. Round the table. Roman Reigns is rumoured to come back at SummerSlam. However, what is he going to do? Is he gonna turn heel? Is he going to face off against Paul Heyman? Is he going to go after Seth Rollins? Is he going to go after Gunther? Dave, you go.
I just can't see him not going against Seth. I think anything else would be mediocre. He needs to come back with a bang. You can't be off TV for that long, be a superstar, and then come back and not do anything. And if Cody and... Well, mind you, they've got this filming, haven't they? Oh, I don't know. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I just think he's got to come after Seth. Or Heyman.
I think he'll go after Heyman personally. I think.
Yeah, I just can't see him doing anything less than that. I really can't.
I think he'll go after Heyman, and it'll be a Braun Breaker will have a match against someone. Heyman will be with him, and that's when Roman will come out. I don't think he'll get involved in Seth because, as I said, he's filming Street Fighter with Cody Rhodes.
So
my opinion's now massively changed. I think Cody's not going to beat John Cena now because you can't have him win the title and then fuck off. And then Roman Reigns is what he's going to come out and feud with Seth. But then what about if he comes back? A couple of months?
Well, what about if he comes back before SummerSlam? What about if he comes back at Saturday night's main event? Screws Seth over in his match with LA Knight, sets up their match to SummerSlam, and gets absolutely brutalised by the trio at SummerSlam, and that gets written off TV to do the Street Fighter thing. And then Seth cashes in the next night on night 2 of SummerSlam and wins the title.
Against Cody Rhodes.
Is that Street Fighter thing real? Because to me, it looked like fancy booking a fucking TV show if they were going to recast Street Fighter, here's all the wrestlers I want to be in it. It was. I've seen the picture. It looks fucking weird. Jason Momoa as Blanca. Yeah. Why? Like, I get, like, it's cool. Jason Momoa's badass, but like, it looked like it was fake to me. Is it actually real?
No, well, I saw the same post, but it's legit real.
Actors it's really fucking powerful.
So it's going to be good. And now you know that, Andy. What do you think Roman Reigns is going to
do? What's he going to do at SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Maybe Seth. I'd be honest with you. I'm sort of over the whole Seth Roman feud at this point. I'd rather see him do something. I know we said earlier in the show that we don't want to see him with Jacob and Solo. I actually do. I'd rather see him go back with Jacob and be like, have a little bit of, because you can build then to a Roman Jacob match, which is what the last year's War Games was supposed to be building towards, was Jacob versus Roman, and we never got it. So I think if you have him build to something towards Survivor Series with them, you can have a little bit more interaction with Roman and Solo, especially Solo feeling a little bit more confident and being a bit more braggadocious and just funny. You can have a bit more interaction between them, and then hopefully something with Roman and Jacob would be a nice payoff towards Mania, maybe a Rumble, something like that. But yeah, I want him as far away from this Seth Rollins situation as he can get. I'm bored of the Shield. I'm bored of that story. Should have ended 3 years ago. So,
what do you think, though, Fraz?
I don't like that. I don't like having Roman Reigns dropping down a few pegs and getting muddled into bloodline stuff.
Builds them up.
Yeah, but does it need to? The bloodline, but the bloodline story's been going on for so long now. It's kind of like, and I want to see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins WrestleMania. That's what I want to see, to put that to bed. We haven't got much time left with Seth, and we haven't got much time with Roman. Get it done at WrestleMania. And have CM Punk then reign supreme for the next 10 years.
So, counterpoint to that, you say that the bloodline has been going on for too long. The Shield storyline has been going on since 2013, maybe earlier.
No, but it hasn't, because it hasn't, has it? It's just been in the background. It's just loiters. It's like one of your, after you've gone to California Grill, you've bought a lovely dirty kebab and you've done some really smelly farts. Just lingers there, doesn't it, sometimes? And when you wake up in the morning, you go out for a piss, you come back into your room and you're like, oh my God, that stinks. That's exactly what the Shield storyline is. Just lingers like in the air. Smelly old shit. Bit. Whereas the bloodline, they're just literally copy and pasting. They're doing the same thing over and over again. I don't need to see Roman Reigns come back and elevate things. I don't even need to see him fight Jacob Fatu, really. I'd rather see Jacob fight Braun Breaker. Like, that would be my match.
Top tier 5-star wrestling with long-term storytelling and nuances. So the Shield running for over 10 years, I absolutely love. It's run longer than some companies.
Oh, we come back, haven't we? On that one. On that, then.
With a bone.
It's a long-term storyline, isn't it?
Wash your pop this week, David?
Oh, it's Breaker. I absolutely loved it because for the point that I almost cried because I thought they were going to split him up, and then I actually thought his promo was fantastic. I saw on the internet this week that people were saying it's rubbish, and I was like, no, you're an idiot if you think it's rubbish. He was absolutely superb. Andy hit the nail on the head. There's that Scott Steiner mental animal, like he can snap, but at the same time he knew what he was doing. He was almost a little bit slow and methodical, yet wild and unpredictable at the same time. I found that quite fascinating, and he's just the man, and he's going to be the man. He's the next Randy, isn't he?
He is quite,
like, yeah,
and he looks a little bit like me as well. I mean,
he's got a fantastic Jimmy Anvil Neidhart beard as well, which you can go back and watch the Canadian Stampede to see Jimmy Anvil Neidhart's beard, which was this week in wrestling history in 1997.
Andy, dispute the fact, maybe your pop this week is me looking like Bron Breakker, but Andy, what's your pop?
I think I just have to address the fact that if you look like Bron Breakker, then it's Bron Breakker after a shit ton of Ozempic and like a shit ton of it. Too skinny, big man. But I love the love.
But you can't see below here, on the camera. Maybe we'll do like, I'll get the top. I'll get the
different show.
Next
we'll
do it. I'll tell you what, we'll do it for Christmas. For Christmas, God. I'll put the.
I'll dress as you can dress as Bron. I'll dress up like I don't know, fucking
King Kong Bundy
or some shit, King Kong Bundy or whatever.
Shave your head as well.
I'll put the Mastodon head on. Be Vader. Fuck it.
The Mastodon. Yeah. What's your pop?
My pop for this week? My pop was Andrade and Phoenix. I fucking loved that match. It was spot heavy. It's beautiful. It's a 4.5 star on Dave Meltzer's book all week. And it made a fool out of Fraxium, who are a bunch of losers. So fuck them.
Right. Oh, with that, my pop this week is Dominic Mysterio receiving a mysterious cake from AJ Styles. I know it's stupid, and I know my pops are proper.
No,
stupid,
but that's the point.
I really thought that was quality. And then Dom, if you notice, when he turns around and AJ's not there, puts his finger in the cake and starts eating it. It's quality. I love that.
That was so good.
They're both so good. They're both excellent. Drops?
My drop. What was my drop this week? Apart from my guts, I think my drop this week was probably, I'm not her biggest fan, but it's just such a backward step for Asuka to get back with Kairi Sane. Kabuki Warriors,
Yeah, but that's my drop as well.
We have been longing for more tag teams in the women division. It could be my worst drop, but I don't know. It wasn't that great for me this week.
No, I'm with you on
Andy?
that. That's my drop as well.
So I will say, in defense of Asuka, the one thing I want to see from Asuka is a solo heel run. I think her turning on Kyrie would be gold. I think she would be an excellent top heel female as a solo, not in Damage Control. My drop for this week was Lyra. I do not care about that women's triple threat. I could not give a fuck. I don't like Becky at the minute. I love seeing Bayley. I don't really want to hear Bayley too much. But yeah, the Lyra part of it is just, I'd rather have Becky versus Bayley and Lyra be as far away from it as possible. She's dishwater, absolute dog water. So, yeah. Nah, no shot.
Yeah, that's a bit weak, to be fair.
Is it weird that we're three dudes that have picked women as the worst parts this week? I feel like that's not very representative, but
they were though.
That's because I've
got a history.
So
I've got a history, haven't I? Hurly burly
men.
Hurly burly men.
Dave, you drop?
I agreed with you.
Oh, yeah. Right, mine.
Damage control, whatever you want to call them, absolute waste of time. But yeah, I've just wasted my time getting invested in Asuka over the last couple of weeks. Clearly, pants.
Just like you did with Fraxium.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for watching another excellent episode of Holla If You Hear Me Weekly. We will be back with preview shows, predictions, and various other worst and best of. But if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Dave touched on it earlier. No comments. We need feedback to make the show better. Yeah. If you think me and Dave are out of our mind and hating on AEW, fucking let us know. And if you think Andy is dead wrong, then let him know. But thank you for watching. I love you all. And as always, adios, amigos.